He smiled in court because one detail was still hidden. The courtroom was colder than it needed to be. Not from the air conditioning, from the silence. Every bench was full. Journalists leaned forward, pens hovering. A woman in the second row pressed a tissue against her lips, already damp from tears she hadn't wiped away since morning. At the defense table, Marcus Hale sat perfectly still, hands folded, back straight, jaw relaxed, and smiling. It wasn't a wide smile. It wasn't arrogant. It was subtle, the kind people wear when they know something no one else does. The judge adjusted his glasses. The jury avoided Marcus's eyes. The prosecutor stood, confident, too confident. The case had been airtight from the start. 3 years earlier, Elena Brooks had vanished after leaving work late on a Friday evening. Her car was found abandoned near the river. Her phone was crushed beyond recovery. Her body surfaced 6 weeks later, tangled in reeds, weighed down with stones. Cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head. Marcus Hale had been her boyfriend, the last person to see her alive, the man with the motive. They had fought that night. Neighbors heard raised voices. One witness remembered a door slamming. Another remembered a car speeding away. Marcus admitted it all. Yes, they argued. Yes, he was angry. Yes, she left in tears. But he never admitted to killing her. And yet here he was. Because the evidence didn't need a confession. The prosecutor walked slowly toward the jury box. Phone records showed Marcus's device near the river that night. A bloodstain, Elena's blood, was found in the trunk of his car. A rock matching the wounds on her skull was recovered downstream, bearing microscopic fibers from Marcus's jacket. Every piece fit. Every explanation collapsed. Marcus's defense attorney had barely spoken throughout the trial. No dramatic objections, no emotional speeches, just notes, quiet listening, occasional nods. And Marcus kept smiling. When the prosecutor finished, the courtroom exhaled. This was it. The end. The judge looked toward the defense. "Counsel," he said, "you may proceed." The defense attorney stood. Older. Calm. No theatrics. He walked to the center of the room and paused. Then he asked for one thing: to recall the lead forensic analyst. A murmur rippled through the room. The analyst returned to the stand. Confident. Professional. Tired of repeating conclusions she had already explained 3 times. The attorney approached slowly. He didn't challenge the blood evidence. He didn't question the phone records. He didn't argue about the rock. Instead, he asked one question. When Elena's body was recovered, what time of death was determined? The analyst answered without hesitation. Between 10:30 p.m. and midnight. The attorney nodded. Then he asked another. And what time did Marcus Hale's phone last register movement near the river? 11:02 p.m. The attorney let the number hang in the air. Then he asked a third question. At what time was Elena Brooks officially pronounced dead? The analyst frowned slightly. 1:17 a.m. The courtroom shifted. The prosecutor stiffened. The defense attorney walked back to the evidence table and picked up a sealed envelope that had not been opened once during the trial. He asked permission to submit a final exhibit. The judge hesitated. Then allowed it. The attorney opened the envelope and removed a printed report. Hospital records,
Emergency intake. The defense attorney turned to the jury. At 12:41 a.m., Elena Brooks was admitted to Mercy General Hospital. Alive. Barely. Unconscious. Severe head trauma. Hypothermia. But alive. The room exploded into noise. The judge slammed the gavel. Silence returned, shaken, confused, electric. The prosecutor stood abruptly. That was impossible. The body was found weeks later. The defense attorney calmly continued. Elena was found that night, not in the river, but on a service road nearly a mile away, by a delivery driver. She was breathing. And she died 46 minutes later, in a hospital bed. The jury stared in disbelief. The attorney turned back to the analyst. The time of death you testified to was estimated based on decomposition and water exposure. Yes. Water exposure that occurred after she was already dead? The analyst hesitated. Yes. Then the attorney delivered the final blow. Elena did not die where the prosecution says she did. She was moved. And Marcus Hale was already home. The courtroom erupted again. But Marcus did not move. He did not look surprised. He only stopped smiling. The prosecutor scrambled. New questions, new objections. But the damage was irreversible. The story they had built, perfect, logical, clean, collapsed under a single fact they never expected to surface. Elena had survived the attack, which meant Marcus couldn't have finished it, which meant someone else did. The judge ordered an immediate recess. Marcus was escorted out, not in handcuffs this time. The cameras followed him. Outside, reporters shouted questions. He didn't answer. But as he stepped into the sunlight, his smile returned. Because the detail he had hidden for 3 years was finally exposed. He hadn't killed Elena. He had only left her, bleeding, unconscious, alive. And the delivery driver, who found her first, had never testified. Because that driver was never found. Because that driver was Marcus's brother. And he had arrived before the ambulance. And he had finished what Marcus started. That detail remained hidden, and the smile stayed.